We are going to be talking about the silence of God.
Esta noche vamos a hablar sobre el silencio de Dios.
We're going to be in Matthew chapter 15. It's going to be a very short story.
Estaremos en Mateo 14.
It's going to be an interaction, a conversation
Será una historia corta, una conversación
between Jesus
entre Jesús
and a Canaanite woman.
y una mujer cananita.
It is only 7 verses in length.
Solamente son 7 versículos de largo.
So I'm going to read it.
Entonces lo voy a leer,
We're going to talk through it.
vamos a hablar de ello
And then we'll go get some coffee.
y luego haremos café.
All right, here we go.
Aquí vamos.
Matthew chapter 15.
Mateo 15.
Then Jesus left Galilee and went north to the region of Tyre and Sidon. A Gentile woman, a Canaanite woman who lived there, came to him, pleading, "Have mercy on me, O Lord, son of David, for my daughter is possessed by a demon that torments her severely." But Jesus gave her no reply, not even a word. Then his disciples urged him to send her away. "Tell her to go away," they said. "She's bothering us with all her begging." No one's talking to you, disciples. Just want to put that out there. Then Jesus said to the woman, "I was sent here to help God's lost sheep, the people of Israel. But you came and worshipped him, pleading again, 'Lord, help me.'" Jesus responded, "It isn't right to take food from the children and throw it to the dogs." She replied, "That's true, Lord. But even the dogs are allowed to eat the scraps that fall beneath their master's table." "Dear woman," Jesus said to her, "your faith is great. Your request is granted." And her daughter was instantly healed.
Dice Mateo 15, 21 al 28. Luego Jesús salió de Galilea y se dirigió al norte a la región de Tiro y Sidón. Una mujer de los gentiles que vivía allí se le acercó y le rogó: "Ten misericordia de mí, oh Señor, hijo de David, pues mi hija está poseída por un demonio que la atormenta terriblemente." Pero Jesús no le contestó ni una palabra. Entonces sus discípulos le pidieron que la despidiera. "Dile que se vaya", dijeron. "No nos está molestando con sus súplicas." Entonces Jesús le dijo a la mujer: "Fui enviado para ayudar solamente a las ovejas perdidas de Dios, el pueblo de Israel." Ella se acercó y lo adoró y le rogó una vez más: "Señor, ayúdame." Jesús le respondió: "No está bien tomar la comida de los hijos y arrojársela a los perros." "Es verdad, Señor", respondió la mujer, "pero hasta los perros se les permite comer las sobras que caen bajo la mesa de sus amos." "Apreciada mujer", le dijo Jesús, "tu fe es grande, se te concede lo que pides."
So tonight I'm going to preach from the title Suffering in Silence.
Esta noche voy a predicar del título Sufriendo en silencio.
Let's go ahead and pray.
Vamos a orar.
Lord God, I pray that you would help us to understand your silence. Amen.
Amén.
You know, it's very easy for people, for pastors, for myself,
Es muy fácil para gente, pastores, yo mismo,
to talk about when God does speak.
de hablar cuando Dios sí habla.
Because when God does speak, mountains move.
Porque cuando Dios sí habla, las montañas se mueven.
When God does speak, dead things are made alive.
Cuando Dios sí habla, las cosas muertas están vivas.
When God does speak, sick people are made healed.
Cuando Dios sí habla, la gente enferma está sanada.
When God does speak, creation pops into existence.
Cuando Dios sí habla, la creación existe.
When God does speak, the heavens open up.
Cuando Dios sí habla, los cielos se abren.
When God does speak, fire comes down from heaven like with the prophets.
Cuando Dios sí habla, el fuego viene desde el cielo, así como con los profetas.
When God does speak, he silences the storm, he silences the waves.
Cuando Dios sí habla, él calma la tormenta.
It's easy to talk about when God speaks. It's powerful.
Es fácil, es poderoso hablar cuando Dios sí habla.
Plenty of examples of when God speaks, how powerful it
Hay
is.
tantos ejemplos del poder de Dios y cuando él habla.
But what do you do when God doesn't speak?
Pero ¿qué haces cuando Dios no habla?
When he's silent?
Cuando está en
When he
silencio.
doesn't answer you?
Cuando él no te contesta.
When you pour your heart out to him and he doesn't say anything back?
Cuando derramas tu corazón hacia él y él no dice nada.
Abraham in the Bible,
Abraham en la Biblia,
God only spoke to him a handful of times throughout his lifetime.
Dios solamente le habló unas cuantas veces en su vida.
I feel like we kind of get the perception that a lot of these Bible characters
Siento que a veces percibimos que estos personajes bíblicos
heard God's voice every day, like God's just kind of yapping away, right? And he's just constantly talking. That's not the way it works.
como que si ellos escucharon la voz de Dios todos los días, como que si constantemente estaban diariamente hablando con Dios y así no trabajaba.
Abraham, right? He only heard God a handful of times, but it had to sustain him through a lot of moments in his life.
Abraham solamente escuchó de Dios unas cuantas veces, pero tuvo que sostenerlo por muchos tiempos difíciles en su vida.
Same thing with Moses. God spoke to him. Yes, he spoke to him a handful of times, powerful times.
Igual con Moisés, Dios habló con Moisés de maneras poderosas y en tiempos poderosos.
But there was a lot of moments out there in the desert that it was silent, it was cold, there was not a whole lot of response.
Pero había muchos momentos en el desierto donde había silencio, estaba frío, no había tanta respuesta.
So it's easy to talk about when God speaks, yes, but what do you do when God doesn't speak? God doesn't say anything back.
Es fácil hablar cuando Dios habla, pero ¿qué haces cuando Dios está en silencio y no dice nada?
In our text,
En nuestro texto,
Jesus, he's traveling to these two cities of Tyre and Sidon.
Jesús está viajando a estas dos ciudades.
It's 25 miles away from Galilee,
Son 25 millas de Galilea.
meaning geographically, this woman and Jesus, they're separated.
Geográficamente, esta mujer y Jesús están separados.
Separated by 25 miles. That's almost a full marathon.
Separados por 25 millas, casi un maratón.
They're separated by distance.
Están separados por la distancia.
They're also separated because of their genders.
También están separados por sus géneros.
Obviously, this woman is a woman.
Obviamente esta mujer era una mujer.
Jesus is a man.
Jesús es un varón.
And in a culture back then during the Bible times,
Y en la cultura en esos tiempos bíblicos
a very misogynistic culture,
era una cultura muy machista, no sé,
where women didn't have a whole lot of rights,
donde la gente no tenía tantos derechos,
where they weren't recognized as equals,
no fueron reconocidos como iguales,
right? We don't even know this woman's name.
ni conocemos el nombre de esta mujer.
There are other women that we don't even have the privilege of knowing a lot of women's names in the Bible.
No tenemos el privilegio de conocer los nombres de muchas mujeres en la Biblia.
The woman at the well,
La mujer al lado del pozo,
the woman with the issue of blood.
la mujer que tenía el flujo de sangre.
Culturally, there's a big separation
Culturalmente hay una separación grande
between men and women.
entre hombres y mujeres.
Huge difference.
Gran diferencia.
She isn't even called by her name in the story. She's recognized by her gender.
Ella no es reconocida por su nombre en esta historia, sino por su género.
She's also a Canaanite woman. We know she's a Canaanite. She's a Gentile.
También es una mujer cananita, es una gentil.
If you don't know, the Canaanites and the Jewish people had a lot of beef throughout the years.
Si no sabías, los cananitas y los israelitas tenían muchos argumentos en esos tiempos.
Hundreds of years of war,
Cientos de años de guerras,
dating back all the way to Moses' times when Joshua was in charge. Hundreds of years of war.
hasta el tiempo de Moisés, de Josué, cientos de años de guerras.
The Canaanite people, they worship different gods. They have different religious practices. She is different in every way from Jesus.
La gente cananita adoraba diferentes dioses. Ella era completamente diferente de Jesús.
Who she worships is different.
A quien ella adora es diferente.
How she cooks is different.
Como ella cocina es diferente.
Her schedule's different.
Su agenda es diferente.
Her gender's different.
Su género es diferente.
Her location's different.
Su ubicación es
Her
diferente.
rights are different.
Sus derechos son diferentes.
Different in every way.
Diferente en todas las maneras.
However, if you get in enough trouble, if you are in enough pain, enough turmoil,
Pero si tú estás en tantos problemas, en tanto dolor,
if you get desperate enough,
si estás tan desesperado,
you're willing to get out of your clique, out of your circle, out of your culture, out of the people that you know to get the help that you need.
estás dispuesto a salir de tu círculo, estás dispuesto a salir de tu grupito para poder agarrar la ayuda que tú necesitas.
If you are desperate enough, if you need the help that bad, you are willing to go out of your circle of friends, out of your family,
Si realmente estás desesperado y realmente quieres algo, estás dispuesto a salir de tu círculo de familia, tus amigos,
to get the help that you need. What pushed her?
para agarrar la ayuda que tú necesitas. ¿Qué la empujó?
What pushed her to leave her culture?
¿Qué la empujó a salir de su cultura?
What pushed her to turn to a different God than the one that she normally prays to?
¿Qué la empujó a ir a otro Dios al diferente al cual ella adoraba?
What pushed her to get out of her comfort zone?
¿Qué la empujó a salir de su zona de confort?
What pushed her to talk to a Jewish man?
¿Qué la empujó a hablar con un hombre judío?
What pushed her?
¿Qué la empujó?
And the question, what pushes you? What pushes you to get out of your comfort zone? What is pushing you?
Y la pregunta para ti es, ¿qué te empuja a ti? ¿Qué te empuja a ti para salirte de tu zona de confort?
What is pushing you in life right now? What is pushing you closer?
¿Qué te está empujando en la vida ahora? ¿Qué te está empujando un poco más cerca?
For this woman, it was her demon-possessed daughter, how the enemy was tormenting her daughter. It pushed her out of her comfort zone.
Para esta mujer era que su hija estaba endemoniada, la empujó.
God used the enemy
Jesús usó al enemigo
to speak to her, to set up this moment. God used the enemy to set this up.
para hablar con ella, para que ella pueda tener este encuentro.
which is probably the most amazing and transformative conversation, interaction with Jesus that she would ever have.
Que era la conversación más transformativa que ella iba a tener con Jesús.
This is why Sundays are awesome, but Tuesdays and Wednesdays are where the real ones are at.
Esto es porque los domingos son increíbles, pero los martes y los miércoles son los que realmente son fieles.
Because Tuesdays and Wednesdays, those are the people that are being pushed. Those are the people that are really going for it. Those are the people that are real about God.
Porque la gente que viene los martes, los miércoles, es la gente que realmente se está siendo empujado, que realmente quiere más de Dios.
Because Sunday, it's easy to put on your best face, your best clothes. It's more about tradition. Oh, we normally do this on Sunday. But Tuesdays and Wednesdays, midweek services,
Porque los domingos es fácil ponerte tu vestido, arreglarte muy bien, poner una cara, pero para venir los miércoles, los martes,
you get out of your way. You get up from your nap. You put on a decent pair of clothes to come to youth, to come to services midweek.
sales de tu agenda, tú te pones tu ropa cuando a lo mejor te estabas durmiendo para venir a este culto.
Because you are pushed either by your parents or pushed by something in your life that you need God.
Porque estás empujado o por tus padres o por algo en tu vida que tú necesitas de Dios.
You come to midweek service because you are serious about God.
Vienes al servicio entre semana porque tú estás en serio de Dios.
And this woman, she was serious about Jesus.
Y esta mujer estaba en serio sobre Jesús.
She put aside her gender, her culture, her race, her ethnicity, everything.
Puso al lado su género, puso al lado su cultura, su raza, todo.
And he put her breakthrough in a vessel, Jesus, who is completely opposite of who she was.
Y puso su victoria en Jesús, quien era completamente lo opuesto a ella.
So be on the lookout.
Entonces tienes que ver
That God might just put your answer, your breakthrough,
que Jesús a lo mejor pondrá tu respuesta, tu victoria,
in somebody or something that is completely opposite, completely unusual to who you are.
en algo o alguien que es completamente diferente a lo que tú eres.
Don't write people off.
No taches a la gente.
And this woman, we can learn 4 things from this woman.
Y podemos aprender 4 cosas de esta mujer.
I'm going to go through 4 things really, really fast. That doesn't mean I'm done with my sermon. I'm just going to list these 4 things pretty quick.
Voy a nombrar 4 cosas rapiditamente, no significa que estamos ya terminados con el sermón.
Now, this woman, she may have gotten her religious background. It was probably messed up,
Ahora a lo mejor el trasfondo religioso de esta mujer era mal.
right? There's a lot of immoral things that the Canaanites did. Her background, her culture, it's messed up. It's wrong. It's despicable.
Había muchas cosas inmorales que los cananitas hacían, estaba incorrecto, estaba mal.
But there was a few things that she did right, which ultimately got her healing.
Pero había unas cuantas cosas que ella hizo bien que la llevó a agarrar su sanidad.
Number 1,
Número 1,
lesson number 1, she was humble.
ella era humilde.
She was very humble enough to go to someone that she had had a feud with for hundreds of years.
Ella fue tan humilde que ella fue dispuesta a ir con alguien con el cual tenía problemas por cientos de años.
Humble enough to beg, humble enough to ask,
Humilde para poder rogar, para pedir.
humble enough to not feel the pain of rejection so much where she still persisted,
Humilde lo suficiente para que ella pueda sentir su dolor y aún persistir.
which is my number 2. She was
Yes.
persistent.
Que es número 2, ella era persistente.
She didn't stop after the first rejection.
No se paró después del primer rechazo.
She didn't stop tithing after 1 month because it wasn't working.
Ella no paró de diezmar después de un mes porque no estaba funcionando.
She didn't stop praying because there wasn't any answers yet.
No paró de orar porque no había respuestas.
She didn't stop going to church because God hadn't done what she thought he would do.
Ella no paró de orar o ir a la iglesia porque Dios no había hecho lo que ella quería.
She may have some bad background practices, but in her character, she was persistent. She kept going.
Ella a lo mejor tenía prácticas en su trasfondo que estaban mal, pero en su carácter ella siguió adelante.
Number 3, she was emotionally intelligent,
Número 3, ella fue inteligente emocionalmente.
meaning she was able to read between the lines of what Jesus was saying.
Ella pudo leer entre las líneas de lo que Jesús estaba diciendo.
She understood the emotion, the compassion where Jesus was coming from, even though on the surface it appears to be mean.
Ella entendió la emoción, la compasión de cuál hablaba Jesús, aunque a lo mejor en la superficie se miraba un poco rudo, un poco feo.
Now be careful who you date.
Ahora, who you what?
Date.
Oh, ten cuidado con quien tú sales,
Be careful.
con el cual tú eres novia, ten cuidado.
Because you can be attracted to a smart person, but are you attracted to an emotionally intelligent person?
Porque tú puedes estar atraído a una persona atractiva, pero estás tú atraído a una persona que está inteligente emocionalmente.
Number 4,
Número 4,
she was trusting.
ella fue confiada.
She was trusting. She trusted that Jesus was going to do something.
Ella confió que Jesús iba a hacer algo.
She also trusted to leave her daughter at home while she went on this journey.
También confió en dejar su hija en casa mientras ella iba en esta jornada.
Trusted to leave her daughter at home knowing when I get to Jesus, he's going to heal her. Trusting on a different level.
Confiada de cuando ella regresaba a casa, ella regresaba a casa, que su hija iba a estar sanada por Jesús.
She trusted Jesus in a way that Jesus hadn't seen before.
Confió en Jesús de una manera que Jesús no había visto antes.
Where Jesus commends her faith. He goes, woman, you have great faith.
Donde Jesús aplaude su fe, le dices, mujer, tú tienes una gran fe.
There are only two people in all of the Bible
Solamente hay dos personas en toda la Biblia
that Jesus commends them for their faith.
en las cuales Jesús les aplaude su fe.
This is one.
Esta es una.
And the other time it was a Roman centurion.
Y la otra vez era un guerrero romano.
Both weren't Hebrews, they weren't Jews, they weren't part of the chosen people.
Las dos personas no eran judíos, no eran parte del pueblo escogido de Dios.
They weren't people that went to church, they weren't people that volunteers, they weren't people that played on the worship team.
No era gente que iba a la iglesia, que era voluntario, que tocaba en el grupo de alabanza.
They weren't people that go through the normal way of doing things. They didn't go through the rabbi, they didn't go through the Sanhedrin.
No era la persona que iba por las cosas, las personas normales, no fueron a los rabí, los sacerdotes.
They weren't people that tithe.
No era la gente que diezmaba.
They weren't people that volunteer for VBS.
No era la gente que era voluntario en la EBDB.
They weren't people that go to church to make their parents happy.
No era la persona que iba a la iglesia para hacer sus padres
They were
felices.
Gentiles.
Eran gentiles.
Jesus found the most faith in the most unlikely people.
Jesús encontró la fe más grande en las personas más inesperadas.
All that to say,
Todo esto para decir,
don't judge people on their level of faith just because of their background, because of who they are, how long they've been serving God, what they look like, what they smell like.
no juzgues la fe de una persona solamente por donde ellos vienen, por lo que han pasado, por cómo huelen, por cómo se ven.
And also, your faith has nothing to do with how much you volunteer and how much you show up, how many hours you have here at the church.
Y también tu fe no tiene nada que ver por cuánto tiempo tú pasas aquí en la iglesia.
And with this in mind, she begins to pour her heart out to Jesus, explaining her story, explaining her situation.
Y con esto en mente, ella empieza a explicar su historia a Jesús.
She tells Jesus that the daughter that she's raised, the daughter that she loves,
Le dice a Jesús que la hija que ella ama,
the daughter that she has put everything aside in her life for,
la hija que ella ha puesto todo a un lado para poder crearla a ella,
the daughter that she's birthed,
la hija que ella había dado a luz,
the daughter that makes her smile,
la hija que la hace sonreír,
the daughter that she's invested in,
la hija en la cual ella ha invertido en ella,
the daughter that she's tried to protect.
la hija que ella ha intentado proteger.
This daughter,
Esta hija
she's now possessed, she's now tormented by a demon.
ahora está poseída, atormentada por un demonio.
And she's crying out to Jesus, Son of David.
Y está clamando, está rogando a Dios, hijo de David.
Which first off, she's a Canaanite woman. And to call Jesus Son of David, it's a sign that she recognizes his power.
Y esta mujer era una mujer cananita y para ella decir que era hijo de David es que ella reconocía su poder.
It's a political name. It's his formal name, Son of David.
Es un nombre político, un nombre formal, hijo de David.
And the Bible says that she's crying, she's weeping, she's pouring her heart out to Jesus.
Y la Biblia dice que ella está llorando y está en llanto, derramando su corazón ante Jesús.
The trauma of her heartbreak, the trauma of her situation.
La trauma de su corazón quebrantado, la trauma de su situación.
She shares with him the desperation that drove her to travel all this way to see Jesus.
Ella comparte con Jesús la desesperación que ella sentía, que ella viajó tanto para poder verlo a él.
The atrocity of her situation.
Las cosas horribles que desde su situación.
Yet, in verse 23, you can see it on your paper, Jesus says nothing.
Pero en el versículo 23 tú puedes ver que Jesús dice nada.
How rude would it be, right? And you're like, Pastor Josiah, can I talk to you in your office? I'm going through something. I need to talk. I need a counseling session.
Qué tan rudo, qué tan feo pudiera sentirse que tú vengas y me digas, Pastor Josías, tengo que hablarte con algo, quiero que tengas una sesión de consejería conmigo.
You trust me enough to pour your heart out to me and what you're dealing with, and you're crying, and I'm handing you Kleenex, but I say nothing to you.
Confías en mí, te estás derramando tu corazón, estás llorando, hasta te doy un Kleenex y así yo no te digo nada.
And I tell you, don't let the door hit you on your way out. Have a good one. I'll see you next week.
Y te digo, no dejes que la puerta te pegue a tu salida, te veo la próxima semana.
What do you do when your crisis doesn't move God?
¿Qué haces cuando tu crisis no mueve a Dios?
When your crisis that you think is a big deal, a big crisis, and because it is,
Cuando tu crisis, que tú sientes que es una cosa tan grande, que sí lo es,
in our minds, the magnitude of the crisis, how big of a situation, how big of a problem,
la magnitud de nuestra crisis, que tan grande es nuestro problema,
should provoke God to move, should provoke God to speak.
debe a empujar a que Dios hable, a que Él se mueva.
Jesus is unmoved by the magnitude of her situation.
Pero Jesús no es movido por la magnitud de su situación.
Same thing with, you can tell God how bad it hurts, how unjust it is, how unfair it is.
Tú puedes decirle a Dios, a Jesús, qué tan injusto es, qué tanto te duele.
You can tell God how painful it is, how traumatic it is.
Tú puedes decir a Dios tu dolor, tu trauma.
You can plead with God, and we present our cases, our situations, God, as if we're like a lawyer or something.
Tú puedes rogarle a Dios y presentas tu caso ante Él como que si eres un abogado.
Explaining our situation, explaining the severity of our case, how painful it is to God, like we're a lawyer.
Explicas tu situación, qué tan severo es tu situación, como que si somos abogados.
And I'm here to say that your discomfort, your pain, your suffering,
Y estoy aquí para decirte que en tu incomodidad, en tu dolor, en tu sufrimiento,
it will never move a God whose emblem is a cross.
nunca moverá a un Dios quien su señal, su imagen es la cruz.
As if God hasn't suffered.
Como que si Dios no ha sufrido.
As if he didn't suffer on the cross, as if he wasn't beaten beyond recognition.
Como que si Jesús no sufrió en la cruz, como que si no fue golpeado sin que lo reconocieran.
As if he wasn't separated from his Father on the cross.
Como que si no fue separado por su Padre en la cruz.
As if he wasn't unjustly charged for all the sin he never committed.
Como que si no fue injustamente cargado por todos los pecados que él no había cometido.
As if his guts weren't hanging out on that cross.
Como que si sus deudas no estaban en la cruz.
As if he wasn't made fun of and
Como-
spat on.
Como que si no se habían burlado de él y le escupieron.
Your suffering doesn't necessarily move a suffering Savior.
Tu sufrimiento no necesariamente mueve a un Salvador que ha sufrido.
God said, pick up your cross and follow me.
Dios dice, levanta tu cruz y sígueme.
As you suffer with me, you're also going to reign with me in heaven.
Mientras tú sufres, así como tú sufres conmigo, también vas a reinar conmigo en el cielo.
So by us describing our circumstance, God, don't you see I'm dealing with this? Don't you see this on my plate that I have to deal with? Describing our circumstance.
Entonces, mientras nosotros describimos nuestra circunstancia de Dios, ¿tú no ves que tengo esto, que tengo lo otro?
As if we're trying to get God to have pity on us.
Como que si intentamos a que Dios se sienta mal por nosotros.
God doesn't respond to pity, he responds to power.
Pero Dios no responde a ese sentimiento, Él responde al poder.
And it seems that God seems to have a habit of being silent in the stressful moments.
Y se ve como que si Dios a veces tiene el hábito de estar silenciado en los momentos más estresantes.
In the situations that are most important to us, that cause us the most stress and anxiety and turmoil,
En las situaciones que nos dan más estrés y nos dan más ansiedad,
why does it seem like it's his habit to go silent?
porque se siente que como que es su hábito que Él esté en silencio.
And then Jesus, right, she finally gets a response from Jesus, finally.
Y luego ella finalmente agarra una respuesta de Jesús, finalmente.
And Jesus goes, I wasn't sent here for you. I was sent here for the lost sheep of Israel.
Y Jesús le dice a ella, no fui mandada por ti, fui mandado a las ovejas perdidas de Israel.
Meaning you weren't on my schedule. You're not on my itinerary. You weren't on today's schedule on my planner.
Significando, tú no estabas en mi agenda el día de hoy.
That's straight up rejection. I'm not here for you, woman.
Eso es el rechazo, Jesús diciendo, no estoy aquí para ti, mujer.
I didn't come to sit in to heal you. You weren't on my itinerary.
No vine aquí para sanarte aquí, a ti,
The rejection.
el rechazo.
Imagine you get in like a severe car accident.
Imagínate que tú estás en un accidente de automóvil muy severa.
You're on the side of the road, you're breathing hard, you're injured, you can't move.
Estás al lado de la carretera, no puedes moverte, te hace difícil respirar.
And then in the background, you hear an ambulance siren. It's coming. You can hear it.
Y puedes escuchar atrás de ti que viene una ambulancia, puedes escucharla.
And you're relieved. You're like, okay, someone's coming. They're going to help me. I'm going to get out of here.
Y sientes alivio porque tú dices, ¿sabes qué? Alguien viene, me vienen a ayudar, voy a salir de aquí.
But as you hear the siren get louder, the ambulance just drives right past you.
Pero mientras tú escuchas que se acerca más, la ambulancia simplemente sigue manejando.
It's going for someone else.
Va por alguien más,
It's going to another house or something.
va a otra casa.
You weren't on their schedule. You weren't on their call. You weren't on their itinerary.
Tú no estabas en su agenda, tú no estabas en su llamada.
Hope slowly now is diminishing.
Ahora tu esperanza se va.
This is what this woman is feeling. I wasn't sent here for you.
Esto es lo que esta mujer está sintiendo. Yo no fui mandada por ti.
I'm an ambulance, but I got another call.
Yo soy una ambulancia, pero tengo otra llamada.
But with this woman, what kept her being even more persistent
Pero lo que mantuvo a esta mujer persistente
is because she wasn't there for herself.
es porque ella no estaba ahí por sí misma.
She goes, I don't need money. I don't need a bigger house. I don't need a better job.
Ella dice, no ocupo dinero, no ocupo una casa más grande, no ocupo un mejor trabajo.
I don't need a new husband or a new relationship. I don't need a new city to live in. I don't need anything for me.
No ocupo un nuevo esposo, no ocupo otra relación, no ocupo estar en otra ciudad, no ocupo nada de ti.
What helped her persist even more so is the fact that she was there not on her behalf but on her daughter's behalf.
Lo que le ayudó para seguir siendo persistente es que ella estaba ahí no por sí misma, sino por su hija,
Someone else.
por alguien más.
She was weeping. She had compassion over someone else's situation, over someone else's issue.
Ella estaba llorando, ella tenía compasión por la situación de alguien más.
Now, I know that I tend to cry to God over my own situations. I tend to be moved when God speaks over my own life.
Yo sé que yo soy una persona que yo me siento movido solamente cuando Dios habla mi vida, yo lloro cuando es sobre mi vida.
But I needed to ask myself this question.
Pero tenía que preguntarme esta pregunta.
And I ask it to you. When is the last time you cried over someone else's pain, someone else's suffering?
¿Cuándo fue la última vez que tú lloraste por el sufrimiento, el dolor de otra persona?
Where you were moved, where you were pushed closer to God because of someone else's situation, someone else's problems, someone else's issues.
Donde tú fuiste movido más cerca a Dios por los problemas, por el dolor de otra persona.
When was the last time you had compassion to the point where you were moved to tears because of someone else?
¿Cuándo fue la última vez que tú fuiste movido a lágrimas por la situación de otra persona?
Don't ever underestimate the power of compassion.
No minimices el poder de la compasión.
It helps you with your persistency.
Te ayuda a ser persistente.
And so in this crisis,
En esta crisis,
she's crying.
está llorando,
She's hurt.
siente dolor,
She's tried everything,
ha intentado todo,
but it doesn't move God.
pero no mueve a Dios.
Her suffering, her story, it doesn't move God,
Su sufrimiento, su historia no mueve a Dios,
but her faith does.
pero su fe sí.
So it's not a matter of your feelings, it's a matter of your faith. How do you move God?
Entonces no se trata de tus sentimientos, sino tu fe. ¿Cómo tú puedes mover a Dios?
You don't go to God, you tell God about your feelings. Yes, that's good, that's natural. He can help you with those.
Si le dices a Dios tus sentimientos, sí, es natural, Él te puede ayudar con ello.
But if you want to get God to move, if you want to see him do something, it's your faith that activates God, not your feelings.
Pero si tú quieres que Dios se mueva, que Él haga algo, es tu fe que activa a Dios, no tus sentimientos.
So I'm not saying not to talk to God about your feelings, but what I am saying is you also got to talk to God about your faith.
Entonces no estoy diciéndote que no tienes que hablar de Dios de tus sentimientos, pero tienes que hablar a Dios de tu fe.
And sometimes I don't see the results I want to see in my life because I talk about my feelings to God a little too much.
Y a veces no veo los resultados que yo quiero ver porque a veces hablo mucho de más de mis sentimientos a Dios.
God, it's not a matter of my feelings, it's a matter of my faith. What I believe you can do in this situation.
Dios, no se trata de mis sentimientos, sino de mi fe, lo que yo creo que tú puedes hacer en esta situación.
God, I'm mature enough to handle the silence. I'm mature enough to handle you chewing me out or you correcting me. I'm mature enough. I can take that.
Dios, yo soy lo maduro suficiente para poder que tú me critiques, que tú me corrijas.
And someone's like, God, I can handle the disciples rejecting me. I can handle you ignoring me. I can handle the silence. I can handle all these things. I can handle the crowd. I can handle it.
Yo puedo lidiar con la gente que me está criticando, yo puedo lidiar con los discípulos, con la multitud, yo puedo lidiar con ello.
But what I can't handle is leaving here and you not doing anything about my daughter.
Pero yo no puedo soportar que yo me vaya de aquí y tú no hagas nada para mi hija.
And so this story, it helps us understand that God is not obligated to speak because of the darkness of your situation.
Entonces esta historia nos ayuda a comprender que Dios no está obligado a hablar solamente porque tan oscura está tu situación.
God is not obligated to move because of the darkness of your situation.
Dios no está obligado a moverse por la oscuridad que se encuentra en tu situación.
And as we kind of wrap this up,
Y mientras terminamos esto,
you're like, well, how do we know that, Josiah? How do we know God's not obligated to move? How do we know that that's how he works?
dices, Josías, ¿cómo es que sabes que así es como funciona Dios?
Now, how we authenticate this point
¿Cómo podemos autenticar este punto?
How do we prove it? It's
¿Cómo
through
lo-
the Old Testament.
Como lo podemos probar es en el Antiguo Testamento.
Because remember, God speaks in patterns. I mentioned this a few weeks ago. God speaks in patterns, Old Testament, New Testament, the connections.
Porque Dios habla de diferentes formas, en ciclos, patrones.
So you got to pay attention to the patterns. What is transferred over from the Old Testament? How does God still carry on the same message, the same cycles?
Entonces tienes que tú entender cómo es que Dios ha dado el mismo mensaje en esos ciclos.
So in our story today, we hear God being silent in the moment of darkness, in the moment of crisis.
Entonces en esta historia vemos que Dios está en silencio en este momento de crisis.
In Genesis 1:1, can we get that scripture up there?
En Génesis 1:1
We all know the scripture. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
conocemos este versículo. Al principio Dios creó los cielos y la tierra.
And the earth, heaven and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty.
Y la tierra estaba vacía y sin forma.
Darkness, circle that word,
Y la oscuridad, puedes circular esa palabra,
was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters.
estaba sobre la superficie y el Espíritu de Dios estaba sobre las aguas.
There was darkness.
Había oscuridad,
Darkness.
oscuridad.
God never spoke.
Dios nunca habló.
God doesn't speak until verse 3, where he says, "Let there be light."
Dios no habla hasta el tercer versículo cuando Él dice que haya luz.
Guys, the earth is hundreds of millions of years old.
La tierra son es miles de años de edad.
We don't get the first day till verse 3.
No tenemos el primer día hasta el tercer día, hasta
So-
el versículo 3.
So how long was the earth in darkness before God spoke?
Entonces, ¿por cuánto tiempo estaba el mundo en oscuridad hasta que Dios habló?
We don't know.
No sabemos.
Patterns, there's darkness, there's silence. God broke the silence in verse 3.
Hay patrones, está el silencio y Dios quiebra ese silencio en el versículo 3.
He broke the silence in verse 3, and there was light, there was warmth, there was life.
Él quiebra la oscuridad en el versículo 3, el silencio en el versículo 3 y había vida. Y había
God
luz.
isn't obligated to speak because of the darkness.
Dios no está obligado a hablar por la oscuridad.
Another example,
Otro ejemplo,
the Israelites
los israelitas
in Egypt,
en Egipto
they're slaves,
son esclavos,
400 years,
400 años,
crying out to God, God help us, God this, God don't you see how we're suffering?
clamando a Dios. Dios, ¿no ves cómo estamos sufriendo?
God was silent for 400 years.
Y Dios se mantuvo en silencio por 400 años.
400 years of pain, 400 years of suffering.
400 años de dolor, de sufrimiento.
Silent,
Silencio,
not a word.
ninguna palabra.
He wasn't moved because of their suffering. He wasn't obligated to speak because of the darkness.
Él no fue movido por su sufrimiento, él no fue obligado a hablar por la oscuridad.
Then he breaks the silence with Moses at the burning bush.
Luego él quiebra el silencio con Moisés, con la zarza ardiendo.
Another example, final example.
Otro ejemplo, el ejemplo final.
The book of Malachi, the last book
El
in your Old Testament.
el libro de Malaquías, tu último libro en el Antiguo Testamento.
Between the book of Malachi and the book of Matthew, the first book in the New Testament,
Entre el libro de Malaquías y Mateo, el primer libro del Nuevo Testamento,
there's 400 years of silence.
hay 400 años de silencio.
400 years of silence.
400 años de silencio.
During those 400 years, the Israelites, they were under captivity from the Romans and other countries, and other horrific things happened to the Israelites. Terrible.
Entre esos 400 años, cosas horribles le sucedieron a los israelitas.
Suffering,
Sufrimiento,
in pain,
en dolor,
in bondage, in captivity,
en cautividad,
darkness,
oscuridad,
silent.
silencio.
And then Jesus broke the silence.
Y luego Jesús quebró el silencio.
So all throughout the Bible, you can go ahead and stand to your feet.
En toda la Biblia pueden poner sobre sus pies.
So all throughout the Bible, we see that there's darkness, but God isn't obligated to speak because of the darkness.
En toda la Biblia vemos que hay oscuridad, pero Dios no está obligado a hablar porque hay oscuridad.
What moves God isn't the description of your pain, isn't the description of how well you paint the picture of your situation to Him.
Lo que mueve a Dios no es la descripción de tu situación, cómo tú pintas la imagen de tu sufrimiento.
Your feelings don't move Him, your faith does.
Tus sentimientos no lo mueven, es tu fe.
Your feelings of what you're, those are important, don't get me wrong, but that's not what moves God.
Tus sentimientos sí son importantes, pero eso no es lo que mueve a Dios.
God empathizes with your pain, God empathizes with your feelings, but He's moved by your faith.
Dios tiene empatía por tu dolor, por tus sentimientos, pero Él es movido por tu fe.
And so breaking the silence, whenever God breaks the silence,
Entonces, para quebrar el silencio, cuando Dios quiebra el silencio,
He fills you with the substance, He fills you with the character, that's another word for substance.
Él te llena con la substancia.
He fills you with what you need
Él te llena con lo que tú necesitas
for the next season, for the next move, for the next blessing.
para la siguiente etapa, para la siguiente bendición.
And what I love about this woman, going back to our text,
Y lo que me encanta de esta mujer, regresando a nuestro versículo,
is at first she calls him son of David, have mercy on me, my daughter, blah, blah, blah.
es que primero ella le dice, hijo de David, ten misericordia de mí, mi hija.
But then as she continues to talk to Jesus, she goes from calling him son of David, his formal political name,
Pero mientras ella sigue hablando con Jesús, va de hablarle de su nombre político, de su nombre formal, de hijo de David,
and she calls him Lord.
y le dice Señor.
And the last, as she keeps talking in this conversation, she shifts from calling him son of David to Lord.
Y ella cambia en esta conversación de ir a hijo de David a llamarle ahora Señor.
The closer she got, as she got past the disciples, the closer she got to Jesus,
Lo más cerca que ella se acercaba a Jesús,
she calls him Lord.
le dice Señor.
And even though when the first thing that Jesus says,
Y aunque la primera cosa que dice Jesús,
obviously Jesus didn't heal her immediately. He said, I wasn't here for you.
obviamente Jesús no la sana inmediatamente porque no estaba ahí por ella.
She does provoke him to speak to her.
Pero sí lo mueve a que él le hable a ella.
She didn't prevail, but she provoked him.
Ella a lo mejor no pudo seguir o tener la victoria completamente, pero
And
sí lo
I
pudo
want to
mover.
let you know, some of you know tonight, you may not have prevailed, but you've provoked God. He's talking about you.
Tú a lo mejor no has prevalecido, pero sí has movido a Dios y Él está hablando tu vida.
You haven't prevailed yet, but you've provoked him. There's conversations about you. He's on your radar.
A lo mejor no has prevalecido, pero sí lo has movido y ahora hay conversaciones sobre Él.
You're close.
Está cerca,
You're close.
está cerca.
The persistence that she had.
La persistencia que ella tenía.
So I want to encourage you.
Entonces yo quiero animarte.
Hey, your situation, it is a big deal. God cares about it. God cares about your
Si tu
feelings.
situación a lo mejor es una cosa grande, sí, Dios le importa esas cosas.
But if you're frustrated with the silence, God, why have you not spoken?
Pero si estás frustrado con el silencio y dices, Dios, ¿por qué no has hablado?
Why haven't you moved?
¿Por qué no te has movido?
This is the pattern.
Este es el patrón.
God is not obligated to speak in your darkness, but you know what's going to move him?
Dios no está obligado a hablar en tu oscuridad, pero ¿sabes lo que le va a mover?
Your faith.
Tu fe.
Saying, God, you can not talk to me, you can give me the silent treatment, but I know what you can do. I know the power that you have.
Para decir, Dios, a lo mejor tú no estás hablando, pero yo conozco el poder que tú tienes. Yo sé lo que tú puedes hacer.
I'm mature enough to not need a word. I'm mature enough to not need your voice. God, I just need you to move. I don't need a word. I need you to move.
Dios, yo estoy maduro suficiente para poder yo seguir moviendo aún sin escuchar tu palabra.
God, I don't need a sermon. I don't need a prayer. God, I need you to move. God, and that's what I know you can do.
No ocupo un sermón, no ocupo una oración, yo ocupo que tú te muevas y Dios, eso es algo que yo sé que tú puedes hacer.
God, I've been pushed out of my comfort zone. I don't care what I look like. God, I need you to move.
Dios, he salido de mi zona de confort. Dios, yo ocupo que tú te muevas.
God, I don't care how you do it. I don't care how I look. I don't have any kind of that dignity left in me. God, I just need you. And I have the faith that you can do it.
Dios, no me importa cómo me vea, Dios, no me importa cómo lo hagas, pero yo tengo la fe que tú lo puedes hacer.
God, I don't need you to go to my house. I don't need you to follow me back to my house. God, I know if you just say the word, it's going to happen.
Yo no necesito que tú vayas a mi casa o que tú vayas conmigo. Yo sé que si tú dices la palabra va a suceder.
God, you don't even need to speak to me. Speak to the demon. That's all I need you to do. You don't even need to talk to me, God. Just speak to my situation. That's what's going to change.
Dios, tú ni tienes que hablar a mi vida. Habla al demonio, habla a mi situación y eso cambiará.
So as you guys go ahead, bow your heads, close your eyes.
Entonces, mientras cierran sus ojos, inclinen sus
I want
ojos,
to put an altar call out
quiero hacer un llamado
where you're like, God, I recognize my darkness isn't going to provoke you to move.
donde dices, Dios, yo reconozco que a lo mejor mi oscuridad no te va a hacer mover.
God, I don't want to act like you don't know what suffering is.
Yo no quiero fingir como que tú no sabes lo que es el sufrimiento.
I don't want to act like you don't know what pain is, God, because you know too well.
Yo no quiero actuar como que si tú no conoces el dolor porque tú lo sabes.
But God, what I want to activate tonight is my faith and not my feelings.
Pero lo que yo quiero activar en esta noche es mi fe y no mis sentimientos.
I understand, God, that you being silent isn't something new. It's been since you have created humanity.
Yo entiendo que tú estar en silencio no es algo nuevo desde el principio de los tiempos.
God, I need to activate my faith tonight.
Dios, yo ocupo activar mi fe en esta noche.
God, even if I don't hear anything from you at this altar,
Aun si yo no escucho nada de ti en este altar,
God, I need you to move in my situation. If you can't speak to me, God, just speak to my situation.
yo ocupo que tú te muevas en mi situación. Si no hablas a mi vida, habla a mi situación.
God, I don't need a cute word. I don't need to cry. I don't need to do anything. God, I need you to move. I need you to speak to my situation. I need you to go to my house. God, I know you have the power to do it here.
No necesito una palabra, no necesito que tú, Señor, hagas algo grande, Dios, pero tú ve y muévete en mi situación.
So as I pray a prayer over you guys, search your hearts.
Mientras oro una oración sobre ustedes, busca en tu corazón.
See what the Holy Spirit is nudging you to do, what He's nudging you to activate.
Ve lo que el Espíritu Santo te está moviendo, te está empujando a activar.
God isn't silent because He's mad.
Dios no está en silencio porque Él está enojado.
God isn't silent because you've done something wrong.
Dios no está en silencio porque tú hiciste algo mal.
You want to provoke God, you want to move God, you need to activate your faith
Si
tonight.
tú quieres provocar a Dios, si quieres mover a Dios, tienes que activar tu fe en esta noche.
So God, I pray for our students. God, I pray for those of us in here that are frustrated with you. I pray, God, for those that maybe have been a little bit upset because you haven't been moving, you haven't been speaking, and God, we've been pouring our hearts out. God, we've been explaining everything to you. We know you see our situation, you know what you see, our emotions. We know these things, but God, you haven't moved. God, you haven't done anything. God, you haven't made me feel any better. God, you haven't delivered me yet. You haven't healed me yet. But God, all that ends tonight. God, for the students in here that need to say, God, I turn off my feelings and I activate my faith tonight. God, that's what's going to move you. I know you're a God that isn't moved by my suffering, isn't moved by my pain. You empathize with it, but God, you're not moved by it. You're not obligated to it. But God, what you do respond to is my faith, my belief that you can, that you will, my maturity. God, help us to be persistent, God, persistent in asking, God, I don't need a response. I need movement, God. And so, God, some of our students, God, they need that. They need that. You know, there's the phrase that action speaks louder than words. God, we are not looking for your words. We're looking for your action because we need that. We know you can. God, this woman wasn't turned away. She didn't walk away. She didn't give up because of what you said or didn't say. She was persistent because she was aware of what you could do. So God, as we come to the altar here in a few seconds, help us to be aware of what you can do. Not looking for something on the surface, not being immature, but God, aware of what you can do, aware of your authority. And God, as we have more conversations with you, that Lord, just like this woman, she went from the son of David to calling you Lord, something personal, something relational, something they can relate to, something you can feel, something you could believe in. So God, I pray that as our students talk to you, that Lord God, they would activate their faith. We wouldn't hold it against you that you don't speak. God, there's plenty of characters, there's plenty of stories where you were silent, but you moved. You were silent, but you moved. Just because you're not saying something doesn't mean you're not doing something, God. So I pray that we would understand that, embrace that. So God, let your Spirit speak. Help us to activate our faith. Help us to be aware of what you can do, not what we want to hear. To you be the glory, to you be the honor, and to you be the praise. In your name I pray, God. Amen.